You are listening to the voice of the Frontline Protector here at the Private Officer Beat Radio. Every week you'll hear breaking news, topics of training, information for the industry of security, public safety, and law enforcement. So strap in, hang on, we're about to speed off in this episode of the Private Officer Beat Radio.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Private Officer Beat Radio on this, the 14th day, February 2022, broadcasting live here once again. This is a production of Blue Ram Media Group, sponsored by Private Officer International, a law enforcement and private security organization for the last 18 years anyways. And I'm your host this morning, as always, broadcasting live today from the road in far North Virginia at the D.C. Dulles Airport area. I'm Rick McCann, today out in the field for the 15-day trip that we're on, and we're doing a lot of training. And I'm currently at one of my stopovers, broadcasting live from the hotel, of course. Thank goodness to the internet and to technology, because we can broadcast live from any place that we go across the country and around the world. We have broadcasted in many areas over the years, the past 18 years, from one side of the country to the next. And technology is wonderful, and we have updated our studio, and we'll be updating it even further as we bring in our new platform as we begin just not too far from now, just weeks away actually, to introduce the new Frontline Protectors program and a new platform for live radio shows, original content, TV productions, such as Breaking Bread, which we're filming this 15-day trip while I'm on the road. We're filming a number of episodes where we get together with security and law enforcement professionals over a meal, and we talk about situations of the day. We talk about the work, duties, how things have changed over the years and over just recent months. So it's been a wonderful aspect of getting to know both law enforcement, firefighters, EMS, and private security. We'll be filming more episodes probably far into the spring. I don't know if you really know how it works in movie land or TV land, but many times those shows are filmed far in advance, and they're put in what they call the can. So we're doing the same thing. We're filming our shows along the way. We hope to be able to film. We have scheduled to film park rangers, actually. We are also going to a safari, not on this trip, but coming up after this trip is over. We're going to be going to a safari and breaking bread with the security team there. They also call themselves Rangers, and that'll be unique. I'll get a chance to spend a day with the animals, talk with the animals, walk with the animals, and I'm looking forward to that. And we've got a lot of great things planned for this brand new platform. It will be a membership only, but it will be inexpensive. $59 a year, you'll have full access to real content, all fresh and new content, radio shows, a lot of training products will be available there for just $59 a year. And there'll be original content shows like Breaking Bread. We'll also have one coming from the Gulf Coast called Protecting Paradise. And I'm really excited about this one because I live in the Gulf Coast part-time, and I know how hard it is to be in law enforcement and security and firefighting and EMS in the Gulf Coast. It's a high traffic area, a tourist area, and a growing area. And like every place else, things are tight, budgets are tight, staffing is short, but they get it done. And so we'll be having a brand new show coming out of the Gulf Coast that kind of gives you a good overview of that area. We have a lot of excitement here in the office, a lot of excitement within the companies, and you can also be a part of this brand new platform. Right now, we're looking for correspondents, people that would help with some of the reporting from your area. Also, we're looking for photogs and people who can handle a recorder, video recorder, and we pay above what's called scale wage. And so it's very interesting work. If you have any background in that, if you have any background in producing music videos or mini videos of your vacations or other things, you're kind of skilled in that area, contact us, helpdesk@privateofficer.com, helpdesk@privateofficer.com. This is not volunteer work. This is paid cash money, greenbacks, stuff that you can depend on. If you are interested, if you have any skills in any of these areas, we're also looking for sales reps for this brand new platform, marketing reps who you can work from home, contact businesses that would love to know about this brand new platform and advertise on it. I can tell you this, it's already garnered a lot of excitement, and we have people asking to be on this program or multiple programs. And so it's very exciting. Contact helpdesk@privateofficer.com. We, of course, do have a lot of things going on in the news, and we're going to bring up some of that, of course, in the program. And we have a lot of other excitement happening, both at Armory College and as well as POI. We told you in the last episode that we are looking to do some mini conferences, 1 and 2 day conferences, training conferences, but also shoot some video of maybe, if not breaking bread, maybe interviewing companies and getting to know the various private security, private patrol, and private law enforcement that's out there across the country. There are many, many entities and departments in security. When people think of security guards, they just think of the standard old guard, but there's a lot of different levels of security. We're interviewing a hospital public safety team. They have dogs, patrol cars, they're armed, they have a full-time 24-hour dispatch center. I'll tell you what, that operation was squared away, and it was everything that you would hope that public safety would be for a university or a large hospital campus, and we'll be bringing that to you as well. So if you or your company would like to be interviewed, if you have a department that you'd like to have recognized in one of our productions, contact helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Also coming up in the show, we're going to be talking about more about that mini conference thing that I want to do. Really, if you have a space or if you know of space that can be rented to hold 25 to 50 people, let us know, because we really want to, as we're traveling across the country over the next few months, we really want to stop in as many places as possible and connect with many security companies and in-house departments, proprietary departments, private law enforcement, public safety departments. If it's something you think you'd be interested in knowing more about, just contact us at helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Of course, we have so much to talk about all the time. I often get emails asking, where do you come up with all this stuff, and how do you get all this information? And I am really happy to say that one of the proudest areas of our business is our news department. I know we get a lot of negative comments because we post things about what security officers do wrong, but you know what? That's in every industry. You can't turn on the news. You can't read the news on the internet without seeing negativity about police officers and firefighters and other professions. That's just part of it. I believe in fair reporting, balanced reporting, honest reporting, not the reporting that most networks are doing today, where they pick and choose news headlines that show negative against one area or the other. Very political reporting these days, a lot of commentary going on. I seldom comment on a news post because I don't want to shade it in any direction. I want you to get, set your own opinion and look at that news article and read it for what it is. I have been told over the years, and I really appreciate the comments, the positive comments that we've gotten over the years. Many security companies and even colleges, universities, even police departments have contacted us over the years by email and said, thank you for posting this information because we use it in our training. In fact, some of the news items just recently was turned into curriculum for one instructor, and he let me know by phone call this past weekend. And so even though it may sound or look negative, it's not. It is what's happening. It's honest. It's unbiased. It's balanced. There's no shade. We're not, putting anything into it. There's no spin on it. A very popular radio host and TV host used to have a segment called the No Spin Zone. And that's what we do. We don't spin it in any way, any direction. It is what it is. Read it. Maybe it'll help you. Maybe it'll help you in your training. And maybe not. Maybe you'll take it as negative, information, and maybe you'll be negative about it, but that's your choice as well. We're going to continue reporting. And anyways, as I was saying, I'm very proud at what we do in the news department because our staff works very hard, 7 days a week. We don't get paid for it, but you're not paying for it. We have a few sponsors. They pay for marketing, but it's not enough to cover all of the expenses of running a full-time professional news department. And we will continue doing that. I've thought about eliminating the news department or at least reducing it because it is coming from my bottom line. It's money that we spend, not money that we're generating. So if you want to help us, you can donate to Private Officer International by going to our website at privateofficer.org and go to the Officer Down Benevolent page, and you can donate and earmark it for radio show, or you can market, have your services and products on our websites, all of our websites, our radio shows, our upcoming TV platform. We also will post it on all of our social media regularly, and you have one price for everything that we do. It's a complete package. Contact helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Hey, we got to take a break, and when we come back, of course, we have a lot more information. But if you would like to be part of all of the exciting things happening at Armory College and Private Officer International and the brand new platform that we have coming up soon, we have a one-stop contact, and that's helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Remember, Body Armor USA, we've got what it takes to protect you. It doesn't matter if you're looking for stab-resistant vests, protective clothing, the highest quality body armor, protective gloves, whatever it might be. It doesn't matter if you work in corrections, law enforcement, private security, the sheriff's department, or anything else in between, EMS and fire service. Body Armor USA, we got everything that you need. I guarantee it. Body Armor USA, we've got what it takes to protect you.
Why? Why take a chance? Why risk a mistake? Why say something? We all have reasons why we choose to ignore the things that give us pause, that seem out of place, that don't feel right. The word why can either paralyze us or empower us to stand up and protect what we love. So if you see something, why do you say something?
I see safe for my family.
I see safe for my friends.
I see say so that they are safe. We see say for each other.
I see safe because all of this matters.
We all have something worth protecting, a why that unifies this community we're all a part of. So protect your everyday. Report suspicious activity to local authorities. If you see something, say something.
If you're not already receiving breaking news and our bi-weekly newsletter, Officer Down reports, and discount training news in your personal or business email, then go to our website right now at privateofficer.org. privateofficer.org. A drop box will come down. Just fill out your info, and you'll be the first, one of the first, for sure, to know about what's happening in the security industry. You'll know when a security officer is killed. You'll also get these great discounts on training and equipment and so much more. privateofficer.org. And if you're not already a member of the Private Officer International Association, sign up while you're there today. Become a lifetime member for just $99, and we'll also include a free Private Officer International patch and lapel pin.
This is breaking news into our office. A security officer has been found murdered at a gaming room in Houston, Texas over the weekend. Houston police tweeted out that the incident occurred about 1:30 in the morning in the 6300 block of Long Drive. Houston police spokesperson Casey Smith confirmed that a 33-year-old man working as a security officer was discovered at the scene and transferred to Ben Taub Hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. Authorities now say that it was an attempted robbery of the gaming room. The suspects, including 3 or 4 men who were wearing dark clothes and heavily armed, then fled to a waiting SUV. Game rooms such as this one have been frequent targets of robberies, and at least 6 security officers have been killed in similar robberies during the past 3 years. Houston police say that suspects are still on the run, and this is an active investigation. We will stay on top of this breaking news and bring you more information as it becomes available.
I was just going to the grocery store.
Seatbelt violators, beware.
I forgot to put it on.
If you're pulled over because you've broken the law.
Oh, it's so uncomfortable.
And you're not wearing your seatbelt.
It's broken, but I was going to have it fixed.
No matter what your excuse is, you will get a ticket in addition to the ticket for your original violation.
Click it or ticket? That's pretty easy to remember.
Hey everyone, you're listening to the voice of the Frontline Protector right here on the Private Officer Radio Network. Now don't go away, because we are coming right back when we've got a whole lot more right here on the Private Officer Beat Radio. And welcome back to this edition of the Private Officer Beat Radio. And before going to the break, we were talking about all of the exciting things happening here at Private Officer International and Armor College. And, you know, we have a lot of things that we offer to the private security industry and private law enforcement and Sometimes people don't take advantage of it because they don't know about it. Sometimes they think they can't afford it. Sometimes they think they don't need it. I have this conversation often with my friends in the industry and in law enforcement, and it's unfortunate that, our industry is where it's at. A lot of security officers just don't understand the importance of training. Even if we give it to them free, they don't want it, they don't have time, they have excuses, so on and so forth. And it's tragic because we know from having the news department full-time here at POI, all of the situations occurring across the country. And you know what? It's not just here in this country, but it's occurring in other countries as well. Security officers in Canada don't get killed as often as they do in the U.S., but they do get assaulted and attacked and face the same type of wage issues and many other similarities as in other countries as well. And we track all of the countries. We have members in multiple countries, and our news comes in from all around the world. So we really do see a wide spectrum of news items and what's happening in the industry. At Armor College and Private Officer International, we pride ourselves in getting better, taking all the training that's possibly available that's going to help us in the things that we do. I personally, I take training all the time, even though I am certified instructor in multiple disciplines in multiple states. I take training all the time so that I can have more knowledge and better myself. Sometimes it's training that I'll never use, and I know that ahead of time, but training is always good. I love to meet new people and train with people and see different perspectives and different methods and techniques and technology, and that's why I do it. Go to Armor College, armorcollege.org. We have hundreds of courses, some online, some in person. We travel all across the country and Canada. We'll come to you. We'll come to your company, your school, or your church, and we'll partner with you. Right now, we are looking to partner with security training schools or security companies to do regional training in your area, and we'll compensate you for your space, your time, your assistance. Contact helpdesk@privateofficer.com, and we'll put you in touch with the right people there. Talking about training, we are very happy to announce that in recent months we have become partners with multiple organizations, and it helps us to be able to, when we do training, to have some type of credentials or certifications or partnerships. And so we have partnered over recent months with BolaWrap. We discussed that a few weeks ago. So we have a number of instructors certified to teach the use of that device. It is a special device that prevents oftentimes the use of force. If you haven't heard about it or haven't seen it, check it out on the web, BolaWrap. And what it is, it's a weighted rope or wire. When you use this weapon, it prevents people from escaping or from you having to use force. When you deploy that weapon, it shoots it out. It uses a blank bullet similar to a blank gun, and it shoots that out, and it wraps around their legs or their arms wherever you have aimed it, and it prevents them from moving or escaping or fighting you. And oftentimes they're shocked, and they don't know what happened because it sounds like a gun has gone off, and they don't know if they've been shot or what happened. And it gives the officers a chance to take them into custody. So we're really happy about partnering with BolaWrap, Wrap Technologies, and we're going to be doing a lot more with them. And if you would like to learn more about that device, that tool, it's not a weapon, it's not a taser. Instead of saying taser, 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 you're going to say Bola, Bola, Bola. It is a device, a technology that is not new. It's actually been around for hundreds of years. That's how hunters would oftentimes capture the animal that they were after. So check them out. If your company is interested, your school, your college, learning more, contact us at helpdesk@privateofficer.com, and we will introduce you. If you'd like to take training, we'll certainly get that set up for you as well. We have also partnered to become a radar instructor for law enforcement in multiple bands and devices. And so if your campus or school uses radar or would like to use radar, again, contact us at helpdesk@privateofficer.com, and we will assist you with that. We're in negotiations right now with the pepper ball manufacturer who manufactures pepper ball weapons. You've seen them if you've ever watched Dog the Bounty Hunter or some of the others on TV. They use those pepper ball guns. They have their balls that explode upon impact and releases pepper spray, OC. And this manufacturer is the original, and they're moving into this private security field to aid in less than lethal weapons for the security officer. And so we have partnered. We're in the process of partnering with them to be instructors and distributors. We're working out all the details, and we'll be bringing you more about that. And just on another note, a lot of states don't regulate this type of weapon. They don't even regulate OC or taser. They don't say you can have it, and they don't say you can't have it. So, again, you would have to familiarize yourself with the law, the requirements of your regulatory agency if you do have one. And remember, anytime that you use any type of weapon or even your hands, you have to make sure that you have legal justification and that you are in imminent danger, that you're defending yourself. And so this would be legal for you to use. But we can discuss more about that if you contact us. We have also partnered in recent months, just before Christmas, with the National Autism Foundation, and we teach autism. We have previously taught this. We have increased our training so that we can teach various levels. So autism is very important to know when you're a security officer because, again, you might find someone acting in a certain way and think they may be intoxicated or they're off their rocker when, in fact, they have autism. And autism is a form of mental health. Most people don't realize that. But there's a wide spectrum, a wide range. Not everyone's at the same level. Several of our staff at Armour College recently became certified. And we're just, I think we're at the highest level that you can be in security or even law enforcement. All of our officers are so trained. And I'm very proud of them and myself and our organization. One of the other things that we recently did was we became registered behavioral technicians, and that allows us to identify a lot of different things that people do and why they might be doing them. And this is it's going to help us in the field, I'm sure. It's something that we're able to teach now as well, and it just elevates our companies, and it's something that each officer needs as well. Mental health, we teach this. We have taken some additional training and certification in recent months. Every security officer should be trained in a responder level mental health emergency course, and Armour College has one right now. It's online, or you can do it in person in one of our locations, or we can come to your business. Contact us, helpdesk@privateofficer.com, and we'll connect you with Armour College, our sister company. But mental health is something that is obviously on the forefront. It's in the newspapers and in the media every day, and you need to recognize, how it manifests itself, what is mental health, what triggers certain things, and you need to understand and realize why people are doing stuff, because that may help avoid you being arrested for assault or your company and yourself being sued because the person was actually having a mental health crisis and you thought they were under the influence and you beat the crap out of them. We have a lot going on. and I'm very proud of all of our accomplishments and our companies. And I think that you really need to take a closer look at our organization. If you're not already a member, you can go to privateofficer.org. Right now, click on the specials link, and you can get a lifetime membership right now for $99. It's normally $179. You can get it $80 off, $99 lifetime membership, and that includes about 45 member benefits plus training discounts, free training sometimes, and a whole lot more. Remember, if you have any questions, you can always contact Private Officer at helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Before we go to our next break, I want to remind you, you can be part of the conversation 24 hours a day, Facebook.com/Private Officer International, Twitter.com/Private Officer, and of course, you can read our daily news blog at privateofficerbreakingnews.blogspot.com. We're coming right back. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. I don't even know how to say all the things that you're missing out on if you're not part of the organization, if you don't follow our news, listen to our radio shows regularly, and go to our social media, because there's just a lot happening, friends. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Private Officer Beat Radio this morning.
For some children, America isn't the land of promise. It's a place where every day is a struggle. Because today in America, 1 in 6 children lives below the poverty line. For these children, living in poverty means going without medicine, going without food, going without a warm home, or even a roof over your head. And that's life for nearly 13 million children of all races, all across America. Where will you draw the line and get involved? You can help these children and their families find a way out of poverty for good. And you can make a difference in more ways than you think. Will you help? Go to povertyusa.org today, because 1 in 6 children in poverty is one too many. A message from the Catholic Campaign for Human Development.
What am I doing lying in this casket? Oh yeah, that's right. I'm dead. I got shot. I'm not supposed to be dead. I'm only 17. And now I can't see my 18th birthday because I'm a fatal victim of gun violence. My friends, my family, my own mother was devastated. Can't see her son anymore because of gun violence. And everyone's here at the funeral. But before they lay me to rest, there's just one last thing I have to do. How many more of us have to die from gun violence? Let's put a stop to this, because if we don't, the next time it could be your child lying in this casket.
Brought to you by Men Up Inc. USA, a proud member of the Gun Violence Awareness Movement.
Premier Training Academy of Charlotte, North Carolina, a fine training academy for private security from North Carolina, the PPSB training required for unarmed and armed security. And they also teach SLED, the South Carolina Law Enforcement Training for security officers, unarmed and armed. Remember, in South Carolina, if you're an armed security officer, you are, just like a deputy sheriff on private property, you have full arrest authority, and that's why you need that additional training, firearm certification, handcuffs, OC, less lethal weapons. Do it all at Premier Training Academy in Charlotte, North Carolina. Talk to John. They also teach concealed weapons permits, CPR, first aid, and so much more. their phone number if you want to give them a call. But don't call today because they're closed. And, of course, tomorrow is Super Bowl, or it was Super Bowl, and they were closed over the weekend. But 806-4933, area code 704-806-4933. Time flies, and when you're on the road, you can get days and times all mixed up. I thought yesterday was Saturday. You know, what do I know? Kind of lose track of all of that. Premier Training Academy, 5624 Executive Center Drive, Suite 142, Charlotte, North Carolina, 704-806-4933. Yes, you can call them today because they are open. Okay, we have a lot of news to talk about. 9 times a security officer was shot. 9 times. This happened in Kansas City, Missouri this past week at a Target. A security officer was on patrol. He was walking through the shopping center parking area, and he spotted a vehicle going up and down, acting suspicious. He got a little closer to take note of the license plate. Someone opened the window and pointed something out. He began feeling pain in his legs. He dropped to the ground. The car sped off. He had been shot 9 times, but luckily it was only BBs. It was from a BB gun, a pellet gun. He was injured. Police and EMS responded to the location. Police searched the location and did not find the suspect. However, the security officer did get close enough to note the tag number. Remember that tag number, and police are continuing the investigation. The person responsible will be charged with felony aggravated assault. They could also be charged with firing missiles from a moving vehicle, which is a crime, evidently, in that area. It is in many areas, but in that area it is as well. So luckily the security officer, which is a Private Officer International member, will be fine. He's going to heal up, but he has some soreness on his legs. We're also sad to announce the death of a POI member, and this is someone who's been around for a long time, law enforcement, retired, private security, a long-standing lifetime member of Private Officer International, and just somebody who I know will be missed. Robert Wright, retired, law enforcement. He leaves behind a wife, 3 grown children, and half a dozen or more grandchildren. And so to the family, condolences and prayers. We often get notifications of deaths of our POI members after sometimes substantial time has gone by, and we don't always announce them, but we will try to do that from now on. We want to recognize your employees and those that you know in the industry, law enforcement, security, who needs to be recognized. Contact us at helpdesk@privateofficer.com. We want to recognize them. We want to give them an award for, good deeds, saving a life, being a good officer, whatever it might be. We're here to recognize folks, and that's what we're going to do. Have you heard about the competition? If you want to own a private patrol service, free, absolutely free, then you have to enter the contest, because we're giving away not 1 but 2 private patrol service, and you're going to have protected area. We're going to give you free training, free mentoring, some seed money to start the business, and we're going to help you out every step of the way. And you will have a private patrol service. You will conduct patrols, respond to calls for service, activated alarms, and much more. Work special events. And if you're interested in training, we'll even get you certified to be an instructor. If you still aren't convinced, contact us at helpdesk@privateofficer.com, helpdesk@privateofficer.com, because This is for real, folks. This is not a joke. We've had some negative comments on Facebook where people thought, oh, no, they're just messing with it. No, this is the real deal. We don't play games. Contact helpdesk@privateofficer.com if you don't know how to enter this contest. We have been sending out emails for a while now and posting on social media, but contact helpdesk@privateofficer.com and they'll send you all of the various things that you have to do to enter the contest. We'll be doing a number of different events as part of this contest. It'll all be done in your area. So you won't have to travel. You won't have to leave the comfort of your home. Contact helpdesk@privateofficer.com. We do have a lot more news that we want to talk about when we come back from this next break. Remember, there is so much happening at Private Officer International, so many ways for you to be involved. You could be on a committee, the benevolent committee, the award committee, the training committee. You could be part of our business development team where you get paid to be, a subcontracted employee. You can not employee, a subcontractor. You can be an employee of the business. All of this, if you need more information, just contact us at helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Helpdesk@privateofficer.com.
Driving a car is basically like driving a weapon. My friend died because someone made a bad driving decision.
My uncle died because someone didn't think before they got behind the wheel.
You let down your parents and your loved ones.
You could lose your friends. Parents don't like their kids hanging out with criminals.
Drug driving is just as bad as drunk driving.
The Federal Aviation Administration wants you to fly your drone responsibly. Avoid flying your drone near other aircraft, especially near airports. Fly your drone below 400 feet. Always keep your drone in sight. If you see a safety issue involving drones, contact local law enforcement immediately. Fly smart. Fly safe. Have fun.
Without this woman, my father couldn't have had his hip replaced.
Without these people, I'd be dead.
This man helped my son through leukemia.
Do something amazing. Give blood.
You're listening to the Private Officer Beat Radio this Monday morning, and we're glad that you are, or maybe you're listening on demand and it's 3 in the morning. That's great, too. Remember, all of our shows are available on demand at iHeartRadio, Amazon Radio, Spotify, iTunes, and any place that you download your music or your podcast. We are a radio show, but they are all available across the internet. And with our new platform, they will be available there as well. A bill requiring that an SRO, a school resource officer, be stationed on every school campus in Jefferson County and throughout the state of Kentucky has passed this past week. This is after all school resource officers were removed about 18 months ago. House Bill 63 flew through the process, and this bill was approved by the House Education Committee, and that says that you've got to have a certified school resource police officer on each school campus with one or more school buildings by August 1st this year. The bill will require a school resource officer assigned to the campus to be on site, working full-time on the building, at the building, on the campus, and available while the school is open. And this is great. This has been going back and forth through the committees now. We've been watching it for a number of months. A lot of debates about not bringing law enforcement back, but thankfully they are. 9 officers were wounded, including 5 shot in an ambush in a Phoenix home this past week. Police responded to a Phoenix home Friday. It was some type of disturbance. They were met by gunfire. 5 officers were shot immediately. Others were ambushed as they tried to rescue those shot. It was just a horrific scene. Probably one of the worst, the chief said, that they've seen there in quite a while. Officers were seriously injured. There's really no words for this type of horrific assault on law enforcement. They were met also not only by gunfire, but by a man who had a baby in his arms, and they didn't know what was going on, and it was just a senseless situation overall. In Tampa, Florida, police there are investigating what they're calling the shrink wrap crew. A crew sending drugs through airports in South Florida, shrunk with shrink wrap wrapped around it and concealed in luggage. They've recovered more than 200 pounds recently. Packages of drugs coming from L.A. into Tampa and the South Florida area. They've recently obtained search warrants for phone numbers connected to this investigation. I'm sure that it won't be long. They'll be wrapping up the shrink wrap crew, and they'll be behind bars. The South Carolina Law Enforcement Division agents have arrested a North Charleston, South Carolina police officer and a recruit in an alleged insurance scheme fraud. According to law enforcement, the officer and the recruit were charged in connection to a car insurance scam. Officer Armani Ellison and former police recruit Tariq Rumkellup, probably pronounced that incorrectly, faced multiple charges of misconduct in office, presenting false claims to insurance companies, and they're currently in the Berkeley County Detention Center. This is a sad story. We never like to see dishonest police officers or police officers being arrested. However, you have to weed them out. This is one of those negative stories, like sometimes we have to print about security, but this shows that we're weeding them out. And I'd rather do that than try and sweep it under the rug. Chicago, Illinois, we've had a lot of police and security shootings there in the last 2 weeks. And here's another one that came across our desk over the weekend. A security officer was shot several times during an argument outside of a South Side gas station. The security officer, who is licensed to carry a concealed weapon, returned fire and shot a 31-year-old man. According to law enforcement, the offender fled and took himself to the University of Chicago, where he is in fair condition. We have had a number of stories recently that came out of Chicago about shootings and violence. It is a very dangerous city, high crime, and I'm sure we'll see more. In New York City, a chain of grocery stores, I love this story, that's been around for quite some time, since they're not going anyplace, despite the high increase of shoplifting, thefts, assaults on their employees. The New York City chain has hired dozens of burly security officers, retired cops to crack down on what the owner says is a 50% spike in shoplifting. New York CEO of Cristelli's DiAgostino's Groceries, John Casademitis, says that he is frustrated and tired with authorities doing nothing to solve the problem, so he's taking it upon himself to do whatever it takes to send a message out. In an interview with DailyMail.com on Thursday, Castellamidis said the thieves are not hungry homeless vagrants in need of meals or of basic hygiene products. They would gladly give it to them if that was the case. But they're professional criminals who often travel to New York City from other states like New Jersey, Connecticut, Maryland, and so forth to steal products and to sell them to nearby bodegas, which are small neighborhood stores, or on the internet. Castellamidis says he's going to hire dozens of retired NYPD officers and security officers to stand in the doorways of his stores and sit in cars parked outside to deter thieves. He says, I'm not going to tell you everything that we're going to do. I'm not going to spill all the beans. I'm not going to tell you everything, but let me tell you this. There's going to be plenty of security all around my stores. You won't even know who's security and who's a customer, who's who, he says. We're going to cut down on this ourselves. And if that takes taking things in our own hands, that's what we have to do. He says robberies have spiked 34.9% year after year. Petty crime, which it's been downgraded, and shoplifters know that, has risen by 23.3% just in the recent months. Overall crime is a shocking 41.65% up in the New York City area. Because of the new bail laws, you're not allowed to arrest people for many things, he said. And so people are coming from outside of the boroughs, outside of the states, New Jersey and other Philadelphia, and coming in and just doing whatever they want because they know they can get away with it. He says our officers will stop it. The city of 8.5 million people in New York City are good. There might be 3,000 career criminals in the city. If you put those criminals on Rikers Island, the other 8.5 million are going to be happy, he says. And I can agree with that. Rikers Island is the correctional facility for the city of New York, and it is an island, not really a very nice place to be. A father of a cop killed in a blue-on-blue shooting has sued NYPD and 5 officers. The father says, Brian Mulkin, Brian Mulkin, he alleges in the Bronx Supreme Court lawsuit that his 33-year-old police officer's son, Brian Mulkins Jr., was fatally shot in September of 2019, and it was solely caused by negligence, carelessness, and recklessness of the police officers and the police department's poor training. A grieving father still, at this time, is suing the NYPD and 5 officers for millions of dollars. In Chicago, Illinois, here we go back to the Windy City. A McDonald's security officer was battered this past week after asking a diner for proof of vaccine. In Chicago, you cannot eat in a restaurant unless you've been vaccinated or you're wearing a mask. The security officer said he politely went over to the diner and asked him to show his vaccination card. The 47-year-old security officer said that man just outright refused, became boisterous and loud, and eventually assaulted him. The suspect fled the scene, but Chicago PD quickly responded to the scene and took him into custody. He's been charged with assault on a security officer. Other charges are pending, probably things like disorderly conduct and eating without a vaccination card. A Buffalo security officer was shot and a student was stabbed in Buffalo, New York this past week. Buffalo police said that a student was stabbed outside of the McKinley High School. A security officer trying to assist the student was then shot in the leg. Both rushed to the hospital. Multiple police agencies, state and federal, city, everybody enclosed into the area, including SWAT teams and the FBI. They say that this is under investigation. More than 100 schools was in the area at the time of the shooting. Parents also rushed to the scene. Police are not releasing much other information, just saying that it's still under investigation. We reported last week how a Charlotte security officer at a Lowe's fired a magazine or more of rounds at a fleeing pair of shoplifters. That security officer, is under investigation, although they were licensed by the North Carolina Protective Board, it seems like this may have been just slightly excessive, since there was no weapons, no guns, no assault, and the security officer, although trained to the standards of North Carolina, took it upon herself to just pop off round after round. One witness said, I don't even know what she was shooting at because the car was already out of sight, but she kept shooting. A news helicopter happened to be nearby and caught video of the security officer running after the car, still shooting at it. So, yeah, unfortunately, it does look like criminal charges will be pending. The daughter of a woman who was accidentally killed by another security officer. Again, this is Chicago. Kalita Johnson, 3 days after that fatal shooting of her mother, has filed a federal lawsuit against the security officer, the store where he was on duty, and his company, saying that he was improperly trained. He, too, emptied a clip or more at a fleeing suspect, laid on the ground and emptied the magazine while there was people. A woman walked outside of a bank and was struck by a bullet and killed. So now the daughter has filed a lawsuit. We're going to be following this just like we always do. We have, I think, an excellent news department, and we stay on top of the news. This is going to be one of those things. In San Francisco, California, this past week, Stephen Carrillo, 33, a former Air Force sergeant, pled guilty to the murder of David Patrick Underwood, a contract security officer for the federal government. He was at the federal building during one of the riots that occurred, and he was killed. Court records show that Carrillo of Santa Cruz, California, pled guilty Friday and will be sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. They took off the death penalty from the table, and that led to that guilty plea. We have followed this story since it happened. It's a very sad story. The Officer Underwood, contracted security officer at the federal building, was just outside doing his job when this man came by and just shot him. Coming out of San Antonio this past week, another security officer shot at someone. He was walking in the shopping center doing his job patrolling when he heard a vehicle start up and recognized that vehicle to be his vehicle, a pickup truck. He ran to the area where he parked it and found a man had broken into the vehicle, was attempting to leave, and he opened fire on that vehicle, and he struck that suspect. The suspect is in critical condition. The last time that we checked, the security officer was not harmed, but he is currently under investigation. You know, even in Texas and across most of the states in our country, you can't use lethal force except in imminent danger situations. And I don't know what happened. I wasn't there, but it seems like security officers these days are involved in more shootings than law enforcement. And I have to wonder if it's not training or lack of training that really causes most of these things. Coming out of Nashville, Tennessee, get this. A burglar steals $20,000 in security equipment from a security business. Pro Systems is a communications and security company in South Nashville. Been around since the 80s and specializes in security cameras. But when employees arrived at work, they found their fence cut and about $20,000 worth of items stolen. The company, of course, reviewed their own security video and handed it over to law enforcement. Can you imagine that? You're a security company, but someone breaks into it. And it's not the first time it happens. We've read these stories to you before. What are you going to do? A woman was arrested in a smash and grab at a Neiman Marcus store in Oak Brook, Illinois. This is the Chicago neighborhood again. In DuPage County, a very smart and you know, he must have been a good trained security officer. He was able to catch the woman, Terry Collins of Chicago. She's been charged with burglary and retail theft. Good for him. A security officer was assaulted in Danville, Pennsylvania at the Geisinger Medical Center. He was injured after an assault. According to police, Cameron Seth Wolf, 21, has been arrested in that assault. It happened at the hospital while he was being treated. The suspect has been charged with second-degree aggravated felony assault, misdemeanor assault, and harassment. New Mexico, in Albuquerque, a security officer who was unarmed was caught on video facing down two armed shoplifters who had just stolen a case of beer. The security officer pinned one man to the ground. He was wrestling with them for more than several minutes, shoppers said, when his second man came in from the parking lot and pulled a gun. The security officer stood his ground, and eventually they both fled. Thank goodness he wasn't shot and killed, because certainly he was unarmed. He was in uniform, but he was unarmed. A story coming out of Blountville, Tennessee. 3 inmates in Tennessee somehow escaped from the Sullivan County Sheriff's Detention Center. 2 were later killed during a robbery in Wilmington, North Carolina, and a third is on the run. If you see news when it happens, contact helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Helpdesk@privateofficer.com. We're here 24 hours a day. And on a final note, coming out of Riverdale Park, Maryland, an armored car driver was shot during an attempted robbery. Riverdale Park police said they responded to a scene at 4 p.m. They say the victim, the security officer, was making a delivery at the time when several armed suspects tried to rob him. They then shot him several times before fleeing. He's in serious but not critical condition at a local hospital. The men are still on the run. Remember, Private Officer International, we are the News Hounds. You can be a News Hound too. Every month, we choose the best story that's been sent in to us and give you some merch. Hats, logo shirts, polo shirts, all sorts of great things. Send it to Private Officer International at helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Helpdesk@privateofficer.com. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we got a lot more to talk about. We always do, don't we? We've got a subject, too, today that we want to talk about. It'll be interesting. We'll be right back.
Rolling one up now could mean rolling one over later. Driving high impairs your perception of speed, time, and distance. If you're high, don't drive.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
To get in the way before it happens.
To get a friend home safe. And to not blame the victim.
It's on us.
To look out for each other.
To not
look the other way.
It's on us to stand up.
To step in.
To take responsibility.
It's on us, all of us,
to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
All right, we're back here on the Private Officer Beat Radio, and as we wrap up the program this week, we want to talk a little bit about the Heroes Weekend. Once a month, a program that we started as a way to recognize the very heartfelt, as a heartfelt gesture, but also as a way to give these officers their due. We do everything that we possibly can to recognize as many people in the security, public safety, loss prevention, and private police industry, as well as law enforcement. We do everything that we possibly can to recognize these folks because really there's so little recognition these days. So we have begun a new program where once every month we're going to recognize these folks in a press release on our radio shows, our news blogs, and various platforms. And we're also going to reach out and issue awards as well as interview them. This past week, a heroic situation went viral in Phoenix, Arizona. 2 female police officers doing everything they could to rescue a man who was trapped in a burning vehicle after it flipped over. And thanks to these 2 young Phoenix police officers, they did rescue the man. Both also received minor injuries. Officer Rachel Fernandez, a 3-year veteran, and Jessica Hunting, a police officer for several years, both did everything they could. They smashed out the windows. They used fire extinguishers. They crawled in. Officers had burns on their arms and hands, and yet they continued to fight to rescue this person. And they were interviewed by the local media, and they were given their due, and rightfully so. These 2 officers exemplify exactly what it is to be in public safety, in public service, and Private Officer International will be recognizing them. We've made contact with their public relations officer, and we're going to be awarding them each a medal, a life-saving medal. We also have recently awarded a life-saving medal to Trevor Bernhardt for his rescue of a man who had fallen ill and was having a seizure and then suffered a heart attack at the same time. Security Officer Bernhardt was on duty that day, was notified of the event on campus, and ran first to get an AED and then to the scene. It was because of his efforts, his life-saving skills, his training that he had as a certified first aid and CPR frontline rescuer, that he did save that person. This is just another example of how private security are usually going to be on the front line and on the scene long before law enforcement or fire or EMS. I told you last week about a TSA young officer just a few months into the job in Newark Airport, New Jersey. Before the Christmas holidays, there was another person who suffered a major heart attack. But this young lady used her skills as an EMT and brought that person back to life. And after contacting TSA for several months, we were able to present that TSA officer also with a life-saving award. And just recently, we inducted a number of well-deserving frontline private officers into the Private Officer Hall of Fame. Richard White was shot to death. A church security officer at the church, he was killed during an active shooter incident in Texas, but we have posthumously awarded him and put him in the Hall of Fame for giving his life to protect others. Christopher Kevin James of Dallas was an off-duty Dallas police officer working security at a nightclub in 2001. And while he was working security, he was shot to death. He went to the rescue of customers and lost his life. And we honored his service by inducting him into the Hall of Fame. Rick Rodriguez of Bedford, Virginia, a veteran of our armed forces, a security professional, a college and state instructor, supervisor, and manager of private security, public safety. He spent most of his life serving our country and our communities, and for that, we have honored him in the Hall of Fame. Wesley Paul Freeman of Covington, Kentucky, spent more than 50 years in law enforcement and private security, and sadly, he passed away last year while serving as a security officer. And so we recognize his life, his commitment, his service to law enforcement and private security. Hiram Libby of San Jose, California, has spent more than 20 years in service to others, protecting others in their security protection, private security management positions, and as an owner of a private security agency. And for all of his dedication and service to others, and serving and protecting, we recognize him and induct him also into the Hall of Fame. Franco Gomez of Sacramento, California, a veteran, a security supervisor, has given himself, again, most of his life protecting our country for more than 20 years, and then working as a security officer protecting life and property. In 2018, while stopping a shoplifter, he was stabbed multiple times, and he is no longer able to work in the security field. George Weiser of Taunton, Massachusetts, a 23-year security professional, we've honored him in the Hall of Fame as a volunteer firefighter, a security professional. He's received numerous citations for exceptional service and a life-saving award, and now he is also in the Hall of Fame. George Loomis, a 37-year law enforcement officer and a private security professional and a veteran, a dedicated officer who served the community and our country. Beth Coleman in New Jersey, a security manager, a private investigator who's worked in security management for G4S and Princeton Hospital. We have awarded her with a Hall of Fame nomination. Tommy Sindler, Phoenix, Arizona, also was inducted into the Hall of Fame while working as a security officer protecting others. He was shot and killed and lost his life in the line of duty. Kirsty Addison, 75, Las Vegas, Nevada, was shot and killed protecting property while he was patrolling an apartment complex. Each year, we induct a number of law enforcement and private security into our Hall of Fame. They've all received a plaque, a service bar for their uniform, and have been included in a press release. Recently, we also awarded Harry Brown with a life-saving award for performing CPR at his place of business. Mr. Brown is not a security officer, but he saw someone in need and immediately went to their aid. Private Officer International was founded to recognize, support, and train private security and public safety personnel. But one of the pillars and tenets of our business, of our whole being, our organization, is to recognize and support others. If you know of anyone that deserves to be recognized, we ask you to contact helpdesk@privateofficer.com. helpdesk@privateofficer.com. That's going to do it for this episode of the Private Officer Beat Radio. Thank you for being with us. Remember, you can listen to all of our shows every week, the LP Zone, where everything is all about loss prevention, retail security, and organized crime. From the legal side, where we talk about the legalities, the liabilities of the private security industry. And of course, every Monday morning, you can listen to the Private Officer Beat Radio right here on our iHeartRadio platform, as well as across many different locations where you download your music or podcast. We're available in more than 35 different locations. Always available on demand, anytime, day or night. Until the next time, folks, be blessed, be safe, and we'll see you back here on the radio.